Hi everyone, Mike here with June and July Redbubble sales update. Now before I actually get into any of these videos when it comes to Redbubble, I like to just explain how much work I actually do when it comes to listing uh, new designs, new products to Redbubble, how many designs I actually have live, basically what I've done over the last couple of months or years before I get into any sales, because I think it's very important for people to understand that I'm actually doing very minimal work, that at this point I'm basically not doing any work, and that's actually fair to say, and that the way that I would actually describe my listings that are actually up and live for sale would be very bad quality. And I'm not talking about designs, but I'm talking about titles, I'm talking about tags, basically keywords, and I guess maybe some of the pricing, because I can look into that as well. And now, a couple of years ago, I would say maybe about a year and a half to 2 years ago, once I got into merch by Amazon and started selling through Etsy, uh, through the Printful integration, basically the whole print on demand business, uh, I wanted to expand. So I got into Redbubble. I started listing products to Society 6, Inktail, so basically a bunch of other places. And then I was testing things out, and I realized that for me personally, Redbubble was not worth the time. But because I have over 500-600 products live, designs live, sorry, which would be thousands of products. People are asking me, what are your sales like? Is it worth it? Tell us if you're making any money, even though you're not doing anything. And that's what's happening. I am making a few bucks, but I really have to put emphasis on those few bucks. And so let's look at that. So for June and July, and now these stats are a little off because, for example, when I hover over, it says May, but in reality, it is June and July. Uh, I've made in total, about 1539 here for June, and then about 732 for July. So about 22 bucks. Since I started working, or I guess would this be in the last year, so I might have made more, but in the last year, I've earned $101.03 in royalties directly from Redbubble. Now, like I said, in my opinion, that's very low. I do think that Redbubble actually has a lot of potential, and especially recently, if you've seen one of my previous videos, I was talking about selling trademarked and licensed products, because right now what they've done with Redbubble is they've received licenses from different TV shows, cartoons, reality TV, even some characters, directors, movie stars, where basically you can sell branded products, branded designs on Redbubble, and you personally don't need a license. So again, Redbubble is one of those things that I struggle with because I really want to work and invest time in Redbubble, but right now, like I said, because of my designs and because of the keywords and titles, it would be actually a lot more uh, time that I believe wouldn't pay off. But again, I honestly, like, if every time I look at my schedule and I say what's on schedule today, and if I'm working on merch, if I'm working on Etsy or anything else, I really want to throw in Redbubble because I do see a lot of potential when it comes to it, and I actually might do that. I'm just not sure how and when, but I'm thinking of some things. Now, the other thing that I wanted to do is show you guys, for example, what kinds of things sell and what is the profit margin when it comes to Redbubble. So I've scrolled down, and I've included basically the sales details for June and July. So June and July, just to see, for example, some of the sales details like I mentioned, and as you can see here, this is through the sales history tab. which will show you, for example, the type of product, the location, and then, like I said, we can see some of the sales prices. So retail, this is the cost, and then the profit margin. And again, everything that I will be showing so far are June and July sales, but then at the end I'll just scroll kind of through the whole or half of the history here that I have, just to show everybody kind of what the products are and what's going on. So as you can see here, for example, the types of products that are selling are pretty much all kinds of products. Where it's going mostly United States, but as you can see here, for example, we're talking about UK, we're talking about Australia. I'll just scroll up, for example. There were a couple of, actually they're not here, a couple of Canada locations right here. And so basically Redbubble customers are all over the world. So there's not, for example, if you're thinking about the types of designs that you're going to list on Redbubble, think about that, because you don't want to miss out on any customers that are, and I'm just assuming that if you're listening to this, which is not the case, that you're in North America somewhere, in Canada or the States, but you might be listening to this from all over the world, which gives you even more of an incentive to actually do designs, for example, that are specific to your region, specific to your country, because somebody like me and somebody that's in the States is not going to be designing things that are specific, for example, like right here, to Germany or to Australia or some random country that, for example, we don't have a lot of information about. So what I would say is think about those things, because that's what's going to separate you from me and everybody else, because you will kind of take over the market that I don't even know exists. And you know what, let's scroll through some of this stuff to just look at this. So for example, a bunch of t-shirts, again, that's very common. And as you can see here, the profit margin on a t-shirt is about $2, right? Depending on the type of shirt that somebody buys. If we're talking about a mug, so UK, this is, for example, Spain, this was shipped to Spain, mug, again, $1.50. Tri-blend t-shirt, $3 profit margin. Now there are a lot of stickers that people buy, and now we're talking pennies, right? 15, 20 cents, depending on the size of the sticker that somebody buys. Throw pillow. Now, for example, if you were to ask me, what design do you have that looks really good on a throw pillow? I can't really even remember, because I'm sure there are a bunch, but there's nothing really specific that I would say, I've designed this to go on a pillow. So that's the other reason why Redbubble is actually pretty cool and amazing, because if you have one design, now you're listing it to, I'm just gonna guess here, about 20 to 30 products, right? So even though that you thought that a design would be perfect for a t-shirt or a sticker, now somebody's purchasing a throw pillow with that design on it. So again, as I'm scrolling down here to show you some of these sales details, you can look at, for example, again, some of the products, some of the locations, and then the profit margin. Now, you can go in and play with these settings. So this is basically the retail price that I've set based on the percentage profit margin that I selected. And I believe that my profit margin is about 15 to 20% depending on the product. And you can actually go into your settings and adjust that. Now, what you wouldn't know, I guess, is the sale or the cost to you. So the only thing that you would be adjusting is the percentage, which, you're kind of guessing what the actual profit amount would be. So again, if we keep scrolling down, you can see here Germany, France, US, and again, the profit margins are pretty much the same. We're talking t-shirts, $2.50, stickers, again, pennies, and so on. So anyways, I'll just scroll down to show you some of this stuff, and basically the list goes on and on. The other thing that I wanted to point out just before I wrap this up are some of the stats and some of the details about my store. Now, this is the part where I basically am confirming that I'm not very much involved or not engaged when it comes to Redbubble. So I have 5 followers. I have 109 favorites. Now that's basically 109 total products that people have favored or liked, which is extremely low. And then I have 120 total sales. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is very low is because people on Redbubble want to treat this as kind of like not really a social media platform for artists, but basically that type of an idea where you're able to engage with other artists, other sellers, like their products, like their designs, and share them. And the more you get involved, the more activity there will be on your account. And as you can see here, I don't invest any time in Redbubble, and that's the reason for this. So even though this is actually extremely low, I'm still getting sales. But again, as we've gone over this, these are the sales that we're looking at. So not an extremely, excuse me, high amount. Overall, though, I would say Redbubble has a lot of potential. If you're already working with Redbubble or thinking about it, one thing that I would do, and you can watch one of my videos from a couple of days ago, is go into branded products, things that are already trademarked and licensed. And I think there's a lot of potential there, and it's a new program, so you can actually get in early and kind of be ahead of the game, be ahead of the competition. I'm gonna wrap it up there, but as always, if you have any suggestions, anything to actually share, any ideas you want to talk about your sales, your experience, leave a comment down below. There are a lot of people actually reading and looking at this. They want to hear not only about my experience, but everybody else's. So please leave a comment down below. And as always, thank you for watching.